grasses, ornamental grasses, you can get them really, really small, like in a small mound, and you can have taller things growing behind it. You can get a medium size. You can get them medium height size,
And
and
what are
you
you
can get like
talking
super
about?
tall.
Grasses.
Grasses like pampas grass, fountain
Oh,
grass,
okay.
um, maidenhair grass. I think they have one that's called like blue bunny grass. But they're
Really?
ornamental grasses that you could put in the garden where you would be able to get color in the fall that you couldn't get during the year. So in
Yeah.
the year, they would just be like a supportive cast during the year. They're green usually. Sometimes they have let's see, I planted a grass. I want to say zebra grass, but it's not that. But it had like dark maroon, almost black leaves, and it was kind of short to the ground. It was really pretty. It was a nice looking color that contrasted with other things in the garden. Um,
Yeah.
but grasses, like they kind of mind their own business until they're ready, and then they'll send up some little stalks with some seeds. And sometimes the seeds are like white and fluffy. And then in the wintertime, you've got interest because if you leave them up over the winter, then the snow can fall on it, or it could be like a moving thing in the garden, which is nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I really love to do that where I'm planting for what you see out. I'm always talking about what you see out the window matters. So when it's winter, it's the dead of winter, and you look outside and you could see all these different plants that are still up because you leave them up. Maybe you got a butterfly bush, it's collecting snow. You got ornamental grasses, they're moving in the wind, and the birds are eating the seed heads. It's just something else to look at.
Yeah.
That's interesting other than snow. And they can be friend or foe. So like regular grass itself can be a foe. Like the lawns that we have can be a foe if they're too close to the tree trunks. Like trees should be like there should be no grass all the way out to the tips of the tree branches. The tips there. I think I'm on Facebook. No one's on Facebook, but that's okay. But because the grass is going to compete for air and water and nutrients.
Right.
Tree roots are not as deep as we think they are. They only go maybe a foot into the ground, most trees.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So they're competing and they're having to compete with grass. So what I recommend, and not everyone can do this, but what I recommend is that they remove the grass as far out as they possibly can. Hopefully to the tips of the trees if possible. But I mean, 3 foot, 6 foot, as far out as they possibly can. And then just use like a really light mulch instead. Because that's going to let the water into the tree roots. It's going to let the air come in.
Okay.
And it also will prevent like funguses growing on the trees
Yeah.
and rot from forming on the trunks. Oh, my ducks are right outside my window. What do you see out your window matters. When you see your ducks walking around, they're so
You get,
bright. So that's just another plant type that people they forget to think about that. If you go in the fall, I think around October, and in our area on Belle Isle, they have a newish garden. I think in the last several years they put it together. They have a newish garden where it's a lot of what the gardener planted were native plants, and a lot of those native plants are grasses of all different shapes and sizes. Some are straight up, some are straight and in a fountain, some are just blown over and they're supposed to look like that in the fall. And they all are different colors. Some are red, some are brown, some are yellow, some are white. It's just the contrasts are just so nice to see. And then he also selected plants that the where the leaves change color too.
okay.
And so what because people are like, why would you go visit a garden in the fall? Why not? Especially this one on Belle Isle. Because it's just done so well. He was an artist gardener. I can't remember the name because I'm bad at names, but
That's
it's
okay.
it's wonderful to see. And I was like, whoa, what is that plant? What is that plant? So I did visit it. I do have video on I think on my YouTube channel if you want to take a look at that. And it's just another that's an easy way to get color looks in the wintertime too. And plus evergreens, you could have evergreens up. And if you had evergreens in your background, like to the very north of your plantings, then any colors that you have in front of them would pop. It would really be visible from a distance because you got that dark wall behind them. That's
Yeah.
something to think about too. People forget about that. And also when you're going to plant, you're going to want to do this, and this, I did not realize this when I was growing things. If you see a really small plant and you really love it, you want to plant that as close to your daily walking pathway, like to and from the car or whatever, that you're going to see it. Not, and then you want big things in the distance that you're going to see from a distance. Because it doesn't make any difference. I like if I planted crocuses far, far away on the other side of my house, I'll
Yeah.
never see them. I'll
Yeah.
never look at them. Why would I
Yeah.
do that? That's silly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
people
So
don't think
these
about that.
crocuses that are in little pots, like I got today,
Yeah.
um, I can repot those. I can replant those, right? And
Those
I
can
do
go
that.
actually in the ground. Now, if you got those, if they were in flower like December-ish, January, and they were flowering, that means that the nursery forced them into bloom. That's forcing. So
Yeah.
they like put the bulbs in a refrigerator or something for a certain amount of time, then they can grow.
Break it out. Yeah.
Yeah. These bulbs that the ones that I sell as spring containers, these are in an unheated garage. And they just stay there in the dark until they think it's time to wake up, and then they start sticking their heads out. And once they start getting green leaves, that's when I
Yeah.
bring them
Like we
outside.
did last year when I came over with it last year or the year before.
Yeah.
And those I put into a pot and I mean, they grew great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but those I wouldn't try to keep like I wouldn't try to keep them like inside all year round. You wouldn't do that. And they will die off.
No, they were in my garage. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I followed directions.
Yeah. Yeah. I would plant bulbs and I would say, "Oh, those flowers are so beautiful." And I would get so upset when the leaves would start to brown or yellow and the stems would dry out. And I'm like, "What is going on?" And I didn't know that spring bulbs, when they're done with their show, because remember, they made their flower, they already made their seed. We just don't see it. We don't see that. And then what they do is they take all of their energy from up top, they send it down into the bulb.
Right.
Everything is supposed to die back for spring bulbs. That's what it's supposed to do.
So I can do
They
it again
die
next year.
back, and you wait until they die back, then you clip it. When it's
Right.
all died back, you clip it. Some people don't like all that stuff. They don't like to see it. That's okay. Fold it down away from something, away from your view, and plant something else in front of it. That's where knowing the seasons come into play. Like you could have a whole bunch of spring bulbs. Ooh, they're happy. And in front of them, you could plant like daylilies. Well, by the time the spring bulbs are dying back, the daylily leaves are starting to come up, and they're gonna be a little bit taller than the bulbs, especially if you take the leaves and fold them down. And you won't see that. But it's important that you let the plant die down so all the energy goes back in the bulb. The other thing that's happening when they're putting their energy down in the bulb is they're making their little bulb babies. So if you can wait until all those leaves die, you could go in and dig it out if you wanted to and keep them in a cool, dry place and then replant them, or just leave them like they are and they're going to come back again. And gardeners will they'll get really upset because they'll go to put a plant in. They get upset because they'll put the shovel in, they pull it out, and they're like, "Oh no, my bulb!" Doesn't matter. It's fine. It's sleeping. You're not going to wake it up. It's sleeping. So you take your bulb and you just shove it back in next to whatever plant you just planted. It's going to be fine.
Right.
Yeah. But if as soon as the tulip's done blooming, you cut off all the leaves and the stems, then you're not going to have the energy for the bulb and it probably won't come back next year.
It
Or
doesn't.
if a deer comes and eats tulips, then they won't grow back.
Yeah.
But a daffodil, like there's certain things that the deer don't like. They don't like daffodil. They don't like hyacinth. For whatever reason, they don't like daffodil. The hyacinth, that smells too much for them. They don't like
Yeah.
that, the scent of it.
Oh,
And then people say, well, because daffodil's really good to plant in distances. If you plant clumps of daffodil, bright yellow ones, I mean, you can see them from far away. It's really nice to see, especially in the spring. You're like desperate for color. It's great. But But you don't have to plant just yellow daffodils. They make white ones. They make white with like a peach center now. They
Yeah.
make pink ones. So people can have color if they want to. They don't have to just get,
Oh, the yellow
out
ones are so
there.
pretty.
Yeah. And in the late fall and early winter, the bulb companies have lots and lots of sales online. And when things come in online nowadays, they're really good. Usually, I have not found any merchandise that's come that I've ordered online that's been like diseased or not what I expected. And I love to get bulbs on sale. And then I love to make those containers for over the winter. And then I could just take those. I could plant any one of those pots in a customer's garden. And now, boom, they've got spring flowers. Or they can plant them. Or I get a lot of people will say, well, how many bulbs are in there? Because I want to separate them out and plant them. Now, from a designer view, I just go because bulbs tend to look better in groups. Like
Right.
groups of like odd numbers, like 3 or 5, like together, together,
Yeah.
versus one tulip and another tulip and but on the flip side, if they're trying to be economical and they know that they're going to get baby bulbs around here, that's okay. I,
You're gonna wait a year or two.
yeah, yeah. And then, do you know about summer bulbs?
Summer bulbs.
Mhm.
No.
Some summer bulbs might be like gladiolus, be garlic, onion. Those are bulbs. Chives are
Okay.
bulbs. And the whole premise is the same, where when the leaves die back, then you can snip them off. Otherwise, let them be until that happens because all the energy is going back into the bulb itself. So then tubers that you're familiar with, maybe your daylilies. You mentioned daylilies.
Hmm.
Ginger is a tuber. People can grow ginger at home. Dahlias, all the dahlias are tubers. And potatoes are tubers. And then so would like sweet potatoes be as well. So the daylilies, the daylilies are perennials, so they'll just die back and the leaves they'll come back in the spring. The dahlias for our area in the north, you have to dig them up. So you wait until the plant kind of dies back a little bit. You snip them at the ground, dig them up, and then there's a certain way that you can process them so that they stay dry, and you have to keep them dry and cool over the winter time, and then you can replant them. But the cool thing is that the tubers, like bulbs, will make babies, and the tubers will make baby tubers, and they're connected. So now you had one dahlia that you really love. Now you've got more and more and more plants that are dahlias of the same type that you love. But
Okay.
that's how they like to do the reproduction. You can do dahlias from seed as well. I don't know how to do that. But I mean, they give a lot of bang for their buck, lots and lots of blooms. And they make dinner plate sized dahlias, and they make really delicate ones, and they make them in all kinds of colors. Um,
Hmm.
and up here, they would be annuals, so we would want to pull them out, just like canna lilies. I believe those are tubers. And unless you're going to plant them like up against a building where they're protected from the winter, those would be kinds that you want to pull out and then plant again in the spring. Elephant ears, have you seen those before?
I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah, giant, giant leaves. Those are actually tubers, I believe, as well. So you have to
Okay.
pull those out. Click on the video for the next portion of Know Better, Grow Better. And if you enjoyed this, share it with a friend and consider subscribing to the channel for more. Thanks so much for watching.